continued to rise. When we gathered here last year, in 2017, the population of forcibly displaced persons in the world stood at 65 million. And in the last 1 year, the figure has risen by about 2.9 million, bringing the total number of displaced populations in the world to slightly over 68.5 million today. In the East African region and Horn of Africa in general, refugees from Somalia and South Sudan make up a majority of these displaced populations. And if there's a time that concerted effort was required in our region to address the situation, it's now. Kenya has hosted refugees for decades, maintaining an open door to many that come seeking asylum here. And with a population now of about 400,000 refugees, I would like, on behalf of those of us who work with these groups and who support the refugees in Kenya, to pass our very, very special and sincere appreciation to the government of Kenya and the people of Kenya who have continued to extend their hospitality to these affected populations. Looking at the regional picture, and as a country that has hosted refugees for long, we appreciate that Kenya has got its own challenges, but those challenges facing the country have not prevented the country from offering hospitality to the regional countries that are affected by crisis. And I would like to sincerely appreciate the leadership that through the Department of Refugee Affairs and the government of Kenya has taken to seek for durable solutions for refugees in this region, which is quite well demonstrated by the gathering of IGAD countries here last year and the declaration that was made in Nairobi for a regional approach to resolving refugee crisis in our region. The much anticipated Global Refugee Compact, which is expected towards the end of 2018, together with the comprehensive refugee response framework, are expected to revitalize refugee response through a whole society approach. And this, for me, is something that I'm very happy about to see Kenya signing up to this, because I believe it's the right way to approach displacement issues in our region. The objectives of CRRIF are to ease pressure on the refugee hosting countries like Kenya, to increase self-reliance for the refugees, increase access to third countries' solutions, and to support conditions in countries of origin where these refugees come from, and attain a situation where refugees will be able to go back to their countries and participate in nation building. I'm very, very happy that a lot of us have been included in the process, and ideas are being sought from a group of a cross-section of the society in Kenya. Yesterday, I had the privilege of attending a presentation of a report that has just been done by one of the agencies working with the refugees in this country. I was quite pleased to hear the sentiments that are being expressed by Kenyans and their feeling that refugees need to be supported, to be self-sufficient, and to be self-reliant. A majority of Kenyans in that report indicated that they would be in support of both the UNHCR and agencies and also all the stakeholders that work with refugees, focusing on making the refugees self-reliant, and a lot of them were very, very positive about the refugees that are being supported in Kenya, which is a situation that Those of us sometimes who have listened to events and things that are happening across, that was coming as a surprise to us because a lot of times refugees are looked as a burden. But in Kenya, it was very clear from the report yesterday that Kenyans appreciate they have a role to play in supporting the refugees that are in the country. And once again, it's something that we have to thank the government for. But even as we do that, the regional issues affecting our region and the increase in number of displaced populations in many parts of the world will require concerted efforts and commitments by the international community. And I believe that the CRRF process, as I have said, is one way of addressing this situation. Increasing numbers, as we are seeing in the world, requires that we also come up with measures and different ways of addressing refugee situations that will help us to address the challenges that we face today. I appreciate the changes that I have seen for the few years I've personally worked with the refugees in this country. And I must thank UNHCR, the UN organizations, and the partners.